Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live from Beyond. Today, we are continuing with Clockwork Dominion. Um, we have our players here, so players, why don't you say hello?
Alright, my name is Kim. I'm playing Conrad Oswin, the industrialist, who's currently, out in the woods looking for people.
And I'm Nick. Hello, I guess it's my turn.
And
I
I'm
don't
Nick.
know. I don't know what the order is. And I'm Nick, and I'm playing Sir Baron Chester Northington, who is feeling a bit hot under the collar.
And I am Kevin. I'm playing Ulysses Winterfig, playing Baron Hohenstaufen. And
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Let's party.
All right, and I'm Aaron, and Edward has woken up from the fugue state that he sometimes finds himself in, and is no longer at the dinner table. He's in a forest, perhaps. That's
Some people are back
Where-
at the house. I'm not sure
oh,
what
maybe
Blakely
I'm
is.
still at dinner. That would be lovely.
Blakely
really.
stumbles out of the bathroom
So,
like, wait, what
a
the hell happened?
Yeah, we could tell you what happened, actually.
A quick recap of what happened previously, quickly, Aaron. We ended up, after the first appetizer course was served, the princess decided that things weren't moving fast enough for her.
What?
She wants to have.
What was the appetizer course? Just out of curiosity.
It was just a little
Raviolis filled
bit.
with mud.
What?
Raviolis filled with mud.
Oh my
The
god!
most
Thank God for
avant-garde
ravioli.
food.
Is that avant-garde?
Yeah.
Are we
Um,
sure that's not like behind guard?
I think it's just a Clockwork London delicacy.
The opposite
Yeah.
of avant-garde?
So
It's literally the best food they have in all of England.
Well, that might be true.
So the princess decided that things, that we could use a little bit of spicing up, even though there's plenty of intrigue happening around the table between some of our characters. And so the princess, said, "Everybody, like, grab your coats and let's go." And they took a quick stroll through. It's
There were gardens,
we call
as it
them the
turns out.
woods, but they are the extremely unkempt gardens of this mansion, or what used to be. Essentially, like, forested, is never clear. There's giant shrubbery, right? It's like never have, like I said, completely unkept for, like, I don't know, years and years and years and years. And so there was a clearing at the end of it where the princess was like, "All right, let's check out all these things that everybody brought me," kind of thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's a few displays. Baron Chester Northington was like, "Look at this! This thing, like, never burns, right? Like, oh, sorry, this thing always burns. Like, it's like the little box." And Christina, the magus of the Hermetic Order, she was like, "Look at this!" She takes, like, a little bit of flakes and, like, throws them into the campfire. And it, like, just does this, like, massive burst of flame, but it's cold flame, and, like, she puts her hand through it and her hand's on fire, but it doesn't hurt, so she puts it out. But eventually it, like, returns back to normal fire. So then she's like, "Here, princess, you can have this." And Chester Northington is like, "Here, princess, you could take a look at this, like, ever burning like, flame box thing." And so the princess is like, "Oh, what happens when you, like, put these two together?" Right? And as she does, it ends up sort of exploding in, like, all directions. The combinations of two items that probably shouldn't have been mixed. It lights everyone and everything on fire around you, and it is cold flame. The princess is blinded by the fire explosion. The trees are burning. There's a little bit of, like, trying to put the fire out versus just, like, trying to run conversation. People run in all directions. Baron, along with with a few other people, helps gets the princess to safety, while the Han
Oh, wait, what other people helped? I saved the shit out of that princess.
people went with you, Nick.
I'm
Don't
still...
listen to this. Don't listen to this
you
retcon
like
version of the
threw-
recap.
You
I'm not-
threw her into, like, a snowbank or something From what
Wasn't
I
she on fire at the time?
She
It
was on
seemed
fire. That seems like a reasonable
cold
response.
fire.
Who knows how you put out cold fire? It's two
Yeah.
two
But it
things.
was like about to become hot fire, and we knew that.
It was. So, and then the Han and Oswin ended up organizing a like a fire brigade to put out the fire. They went back to the house, and by then the fire turned hot. But since it was middle of winter and the trees were kind of cold, nothing with not enough fuel, it didn't. Once it turned hot, it sort of fizzled out. Only like the smallest, driest leaves and shrubbery burned. Everything else kind of, the fire just sort of went away. And uh, Otto got lost in the forest somewhere. Uh, Nobody saw him for a while, and he finally ended up. Once regrouping back at the house, the group came to the realization that 4 of the number was missing. The people that were missing, 5 of their number: Stephen Webb, Alice Lifson, Judith, Marie Weincall, and Otto. Right? Those are the 5.
Yeah,
that we-
Otto von Hohenstaufen, if that's
right
what you
after
mean.
the fire. Yes, I do. And then after that, so after a little while, Otto and Marie ended up finding their way back to the house, while the group is kind of trying to figure out. It's been maybe 15 minutes or so, but the other 3 are still missing. And so the Han, along with Oswin, along with a few footmen, were organizing a rescue party to go find them. And as they went to go find them, they found their footsteps, and the tracking showed that it was maybe about 2 or 3 people. Maybe they were heading in the wrong direction, because originally the Baron and the Princess and a few others that also went in the wrong direction, but then they found their way back. And after a little while, it turned out that it's not 2 footprints, it's 4 footprints, then 6, then 8. Right? So it's just the Han. Oh, so it's just I don't want to keep referring to it as the Han. It's just John Neville and Conrad Oswin, and like one other footman with them, because they sent the Marie with the other one home. So as they're pushing forward, the rest of the crew is kind of hanging back by the house, with William wanting to go find his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're all kind of trying to figure out how to. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. William trying to go find his brother, and a few other people that want to like go out and help find the rest. So in the distance, Conrad and
Did we ever find out anything more about Alice, or is she still mysterious?
Her name is literally unknown. Still is. We don't know her.
All right.
No, I mean, if you are through conversation or whatever, you can either talk to her directly or whatever. But she's still there now. She's a little bit shaken up. But
Wait, I thought she was one of the ones who was gone.
She is.
Alice, Stephen, and Judith.
Yes.
Isn't she one of the
You're
ones that's not there?
right. Alex, Stephen, Judith. I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah. So Alice is gone. But right now, in the distance, Oswin and John Neville, they ended up seeing like so it is dark, but in the distance they see like a bright clearing, like far in the distance, with sounds coming from that direction, and multiple different tracks converging on this path. And by multiple, I mean 8 plus, not like 3 plus missing ones that are relatively fresh. So Kim, I'm gonna sort of leave it in your hands, because I guess Dave is there with you, but he more of a silent party for John Neville.
Yeah, I turn around to see whether the Han is keeping up and find that he has disappeared into the woods.
He's there,
Yeah.
he's just tired.
That crazy party goer, he's probably off hugging a tree or something. Anyways, I don't know, I'll forge ahead.
Okay.
See
so-
what's going on in this clearing.
No problem. So as you push forward, Otto, what was Hal doing during this entire? What was his demeanor like during this entire like firefighting or fire making adventure?
Oh, I'm
Kevin.
Otto.
Yes,
You
you
are
are.
Otto.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, you
Try
can
to-
tell me which one you want me to use. I could use any of the names that I have for you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just okay. What was Hal's demeanor?
Like, what was his? What was his reaction to that? Was it just helping or just running around screaming? Right? Like, what were we?
I'm gonna say no. Nobody really noticed because Hal also slipped off during the confusion.
Okay. Maybe showed up a little later than most. Ended up coming to, or ended up showing up a
And we
little bit later.
never heard from him again.
Al has an advantage when it comes to firefighting that he can, for a second, send himself to a place that may not exist. And I'll just assume that a place that may not exist might put out a fire. That seems like a reasonable thing. I don't know whether it's true, but it's a cold fire, so why not?
The place doesn't exist. How could the fire exist?
Exactly, right?
That's true. So, Baron, you're not leaving the princess's side? Is that what I think I remember you saying last time? I don't recall.
I'm outside.
Right, so is she, right? Because she was like, "I'm going," and
She came. No, it was just the two of us and the one footman that were.
but then, right, the princess was like, "I'm not staying here. I'm leaving." And then John Neville was like, "Princess, do you think this is a good idea?" And the reason I remember this is because she says, "Your words make sense." And then you guys make fun of me for saying, "Yes, these are words that I understand in English," right?
I mean, that sounds like something we would say,
It
and
definitely
it was
happened.
hilarious. But
I don't remember it, but yeah, that sounds correct.
that sounds right. But also, I don't really understand because, like, what do we have anything to do with the princess going out there? We were like out in the woods.
Well, so the reason that you guys actually stepped out was because you were fine, like, hanging out inside. When the princess was like, "All right, Judith is gone. She's like my best friend, and I'm going." And you guys are like, "Oh wait, that's not a good idea. Maybe we should just like give her a little bit of time." She's like, "Fine, but I'm waiting outside." And so you guys went outside with her.
Okay.
Okay, I don't remember. Did you guys begin to pursue the others?
Yeah, I mean, we
Okay.
were like
Maybe
already
that's
after
why.
the tracks, and I remember us
Okay.
ending and saying, "Oh, we've just got one footman left with us," and like the three of us go off into the woods to
Oh,
find.
wait, you went with Oswin?
I went with
okay. I'm sorry. Then
I
I'm
went
sorry
with
that I
Kim
got it all on.
to like explore
Right.
the world and find out what happened to our folks.
That's right. John was the only one John and Otto were the only ones that stayed with the princess. They were the ones. I thought for some reason it was you and
No,
and
that's what I
them.
was saying. I went off into the woods to do the searching, and we did the tracking. We tracked
Right,
those
you just tracked.
mofos.
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. I got
That's
turned
okay.
around. So as so Aaron, you can either, since they took a footman with them, you could either choose to have also gone with them or stay behind with the princess and the others. Either way is fine because Otto's there, the John Neville's there, and then you could be in either location because you get
Well,
this.
I'm not much for tracking, and I'm pretty good at keeping people calm in situations that might otherwise spiral out of control. So I suppose I'd probably have stayed behind with the princess.
Okay. So after, let's say a little bit of time passes, I mean, our search party's gone for maybe 10, 15 minutes at this point, and the princess is clearly getting, she's anxious. She can't, she's waiting outside, she's standing there, smoking a cigarette, not okay, but, whatever, she's doing it anyway.
As long as it's in one of those long holders, it's fine.
Of course it is. I mean, it wouldn't. How else would it be? So she's, at this point, doesn't care much for propriety. She has like a long.
She's got lit on fire and she's smoking.
Yeah.
It seems...
She. Doesn't care.
Seems like she's got
Uh,
problems.
She was like temporarily blinded from the fire for a while, but she's managed since then regain her vision. But she has like a blanket over her, and she's like pacing outside, like smoking the cigarette with like her hand shaking, and she keeps mumbling. She says, "Judith's out there. She's all by herself. I know it. I know it." And she's like, she eventually turns to William, and she says, "So's your brother, William. We have to go. We have to. We have to find him." Um, uh, both Otto and Hal, you guys are both there during this exchange. So is uh, John, but he's tired,
Yeah. Yeah.
taking a break after all this firefighting.
I say, relax, my friends. Here, have another beverage, and I'll like pass a stein full of beer to, I don't know, Hal.
Yeah, sure. Hal will take the stein of beer and raise a stein
say-
in toast to.
Yeah, there is no cause for alarm. Everything will be fine.
We've got two of the best people possible out there trying to find all of the missing guests, Judith and Stephen and Alice as well. So I'm not sure that it gains anything by the rest of us running out there and potentially becoming lost as well. That seems like it might only exacerbate matters.
Okay. You see her. She looks at you while you're talking, but it's really hard to read her reaction as she sort of just goes back to pacing and like taking a long drag on her cigarette. So back to Baron and Conrad. Yeah. So eventually, you see in the clearing that there seems to be a lot of like movement in the clearing.
Okay.
And so as do you just walk up, sneak up, approach? What's the plan?
Well, I guess we'll. Well, I don't know. So, right, Northington is there.
So it's us and a footman, and what are you saying? So we found multiple tracks, right? We found like additional tracks,
Yes.
and we followed them. And now you're
Mhm.
saying we were approaching the clearing that had a bunch of lights or something, and now we're
Yeah,
seeing
so
movement as
It's
well.
bright light, and there's a lot of movement in distance. You're still like maybe let's say 50 yards out, right? Like you're not.
That's pretty far away.
It's pretty far away. That's what I'm saying. You're pretty far away. So what I'm asking you is, how do you choose to approach? Right? If you, I can assume you just walk up. That's fine too.
No.
You immediately-
Oh, I gotta open my character sheet. Sorry. We obviously come up with some tactics to use for this situation.
You're the military man, so Northington.
Yeah.
What do you,
I give him like a bunch of hand signals, and he doesn't understand any of them. So
Let's
I'm
say,
like,
okay,
come here.
Are you quite all right, Sir Northington?
I say, yeah. Okay, never mind. We're pretty far away. They can't hear us anyway. I say, okay, like we'll send the footman in first. He'll be fine, probably. Nothing will happen bad to him.
Agreed.
We call
He's
that
just
the
a footman,
cannon
I
fodder
mean.
move. It's just a technical term you don't need to worry yourself about.
No one even knows his name.
Yeah, I mean, he's just footman number 3. Let's be honest.
It's like,
Yeah, I say like we'll send the footman in to
My name is
like-
James.
to look first and report back, but like you
Right.
and I should flank around the sides.
Okay. So,
As soon as we get like a thumbs up or thumbs down from him as to whether or not it's like a bunch of trolls with guns.
Thumbs up or a blood curdling scream. You know.
Oh yeah. Blood curdling scream is also like super helpful, right? If
whichever,
he's just,
whichever
like-
one you feel like doing.
Oh God, they're killing
Do
me.
that one.
Yeah.
So this is John Neville's slave, right? Like I think that's where we decided.
At this point, basically yes.
Yeah. Yes. And
But I
think
convinced the footman of like how to do a good job.
right. So the Han ended up rolling like a 9 on like a check of like
Oh.
1 to get these like footmen to like listen to him. So they're like, because like the princess was a little shaky and not giving commands, and so he took over the situation and like forced all the footmen and like butlers to be his slaves. And he told the footmen
Nice.
to like listen to whatever these guys tell him. So it's
Convenient.
It's true.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, he like takes your advice, Baron, and he like wanders off in the distance. And when he's maybe about 25 feet out, he takes a step. I mean, you both are like watching him. He takes a step forward and disappears into thin air. Like he just disappears.
So wait, are you saying that's neither a thumbs up nor a blood curdling scream?
Neither.
I
I know you
understand.
gave him. I know you gave him specific instructions,
Let's
but neither
sound
happened.
the
He didn't even like
retreat.
look out for himself at all. I imbued tactical nous onto this guy.
He was imbued.
He was like, he still had like 20 feet to go to the clearing.
He did reasonable things. It just, didn't work out for him.
Like he had
I don't
20
know, this
more.
guy sounds like an
Sorry,
idiot.
20 more yards. He had like 20 more yards. He was like, all right, when I'm like 10 yards closer, I'm gonna turn on all the tactical knowledge that Baron Chester Northington laid upon me. But he just like didn't.
Never got there.
He never
He
turned
never
on
got
the
there.
knowledge.
Never
Right.
even got to, get the car out of park. Real
Right.
sad.
Wow.
And so, as he disappears, you distinctly hear a male's voice call for help. It's not the footman.
Is it okay?
No, it's not. It's a different. It's like a more. The footman was a little bit older, maybe in his 40s. This voice
Practically dead.
is a much younger voice. If you were to take a guess, it sounds like it's Stephen.
Steven?
All right, but Steven was like, "Come on, he's not really the heir, so like, what do we? We're not really that concerned with him,
No,
right?"
no.
Like,
What is second son? Like nothing.
I mean, basically, right? Like, who cares? As long as what's the brother's name? Richard or something like that?
William?
William? Yeah, as long as William's fine, like the fortune's okay.
Wait,
Right.
which one is it that really likes horses?
Well, I'm pretty sure we've established that everybody in Clockwork
William.
really
William likes horses.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
like wait. All right, so we stop and have a conversation about this after the
he's
scream. We're like,
fond
does
of horses.
his brother like horses?
All right. So yeah. So he's sort of the footman's sort of like
What direction is it coming from?
the direction that the in the clearing or in the lights.
All right. Well, I mean, I still say the same thing. We should like go and
Sensor maneuver.
like flank around.
All
Okay.
right, I'll follow your lead, Sir Northington.
Wait, no, you literally can't follow my lead because then we'd be going to the same place. And
Yeah. He wants you to go around the location.
If you think that's the best idea.
Do you have any kind of weapon on you, Sir Godwick?
That's
No.
not even close.
You know, the fuck.
That's not my name, and I'm not knighted, so you must have
None of
confused
those
me with
things you
someone
said
else.
are correct.
Conrad, right? It's Conrad?
It's very much Conrad, yes.
Yeah, okay. Conrad, do you have any kind of weapon on you?
Says no, but I guess I could fashion a club out of one of these sticks on the ground.
All right, no, I I guess I have a sword, a gun, and a dagger. I will give you the gun. Or I'll
So,
offer it to you, rather. I don't know if you want it.
I'm not. Let me check whether I know how to use firearms.
All right.
I don't know. Is
He, like,
firearms a
picks it
skill?
up, shoots it wildly into the air, and then asks me. If
Well,
he
I
has
guess
a
if like guns is a skill, I don't have
There's a
it. So,
firearm skill.
all right,
There's
I
a
don't
firearm
have.
skill. And there's a fencing skill.
I think the only one I have is fisticuffs.
All right. I guess I'll give you the dagger in case that helps you with your physical. If you want to like punch somebody with a knife.
Say, I very much appreciate it, sir. I'm sorry that I did not come as well armed as you are.
I say that's quite all right, friend. Take this in good health. Sneak around the other side, and don't come back if you lose that knife.
Okay.
Don't
Yes, sir.
come back if you lose that knife.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
All right,
Okay.
I'll sneak off into the darkness then.
Okay. So, as you sneak off into the darkness, both of you, as you're like sneaking around, Baron Northington is the first to encounter what seems like a shadow in the distance.
What seems like a shadow in the distance.
Yeah, not too far up ahead. There's like a little bit, as it's like snowing a little bit and like the forest is dark. There is. Just zoom out all the way. Just
Okay,
zoom
I
out
found
super
it.
far.
Found
Yeah.
it.
It's just darkness.
That's the darkness in the distance. Like whatever, right? So
Okay, I see the darkness.
yeah, so there's like some sort of shape. It's moving away from you. You don't think it's Oswin because he'd be, if you were to like pincer it, he'd be coming towards you eventually.
Extremely bad at pincering.
Right, like if you made a full circle, but you didn't. There's no way you made a full circle. You're like
Right.
okay. You start moving like in opposite direction to the point where if you turn around, you still see Oswin like sneaking off into the distance, but this is also moving away from you, but in the different direction, right? In the direction you were heading.
Sure.
So at the same time, Oswin encounters a little bit of a different scene. Sneaking the other direction, he encounters what seems to be like
It's getting a little risque here.
a little bit risque. There's a silhouette of a young lady slowly walking into what seems to be like a very. It's not the same clearing that you saw, but she's just sort of walking away from you into this clearing.
Say,
There's another clearing,
excuse
though.
me, miss. Do you need assistance?
Hey, you!
Scantily clad woman.
So at the
Are you all right?
At the sound of your voice, she pauses for. She hesitates. She doesn't.
Dramatic
she doesn't
effect.
pause. She hesitates for maybe a second, and then like keeps moving forward. But she's still maybe 20 yards in front of you.
Okay, I'll take a couple steps forward and say, Miss, can you hear me? Are you okay?
I said stop, motherfucker.
Oh my god, that's inappropriate.
I'm looking for some compatriots of mine. You might be able to help me, or perhaps I can help you.
She
How's we can fight?
she looks over her shoulder and you can't quite see her face because the light is like coming from that side. Yeah, very mysterious. But eventually she sort of half glances in your direction and then just like doesn't say anything and like keeps moving forward. She's not running from you. She's just slowly walking away.
Alright, I cautiously follow her.
Okay. So oh no, did I do this wrong? Oh, no, it's fine.
Say,
So,
there are ruffian gangs that roam this area, miss. I'm not sure you should be wandering around in the dark.
So, and Nick, what is Baron doing with the previous
With the mysterious shadow?
Shoot first, ask
Yes.
questions later.
I mean, I could do that. No, so I definitely like it looks mysterious. Like it's not just like, oh, it's hard to see that person. I'm like, there's something weird about this shadow.
Yeah, maybe it's walking a bit too smooth, right? Like it's not like a bobbing of steps. It's just like a very slow, like forward moving kind of thing.
Well, listen, Baron Chester Northington's been like around.
Slept with a lot of people.
Around where?
A lot of people.
No, like, well, I mean, yes, but
he gets around.
But he's never found love. No, it's just that he's seen a lot of like the things that the Pontus can serve up, basically, especially in like Clockwork, Australia. That place was pretty nuts. I mean, come on. So, yeah, he definitely like, the like Pontus hairs on the back of his neck stand up or whatever, and he kind of like hitches up the gun a little bit to be prepared and glides forward quietly
Hmm.
after this shadow.
Nick, can you give me a mysteries? What's the recall equivalent? That's like focus.
A mysteries focus,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
I mean, of what? Oh,
Three.
do we need to clear things because it's a new session?
It depends on it's a new chapter, so no,
right.
it's still the same chapter.
A mysteries focus of 3.
Yeah.
No, I got a 0.
Okay. So you're right. The hairs on your back of the neck like kind of like stand up, and you like almost recall something. You know, you're like, I think I've seen it, but then you like shake your head and you're like, no, and you keep. And what do you say? You say you just follow her.
Her? Oh, interesting. No, I'm just gonna follow the. I mean, yeah, I'm following the shadow, but like I'm trying to like sneak after it, right? If it's being sneaky and crazy, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay, so both Kim and Nick, give me a give me a will survival check.
Okay, of
3.
okay,
Survival. Okay.
all right. I get a 6.
I also get a 6.
All right.
Everyone is fine, all right? Everyone is fine.
Looks like you guys are fine. You find the people you're looking for, and you make it back to the house.
And everyone goes home.
Go home. It's a wonderful story for us to tell to our grandkids.
So as the two of you pursue these shadows from different angles, you end up off track a little bit. You end up off track a little bit, where you were sort of going towards the clearing. You're now following these, shadows that are sort of angling off a little bit different, and but you end up knowing exactly where you are, right? You end up sort of you start out this way, you like wander around, and you end up coming back in towards the center, maybe about where the footman like disappeared. Around that area, that's what your senses tell you. That's what your senses tell you. And so as you get to that spot, you come upon a very strange scene. So you enter a pond. There's the forest is dark all around you. There's a pond, and there's a young lady standing in the middle of the forest, right in front of the pond, and she's playing some sort of an instrument. You see her reflection in the pond, and it is it's a little different than her actual visage that's before you, right? So maybe it's not like a perfect reflection of her. You can't quite make it out from far away, but you converge from the opposite sides.
So wait, what happened to the shadows in front of us?
So as you walk into this clearing, there's no shadows. There's no people. The person or whatever it is you were following, the little bit of bright lights as you enter the clearing sort of like startles you, and you come upon this. And both of you succeed in the survival checks. You see the other person on like the other side of the clearing, like in addition to this, right? So you see Oswind Baron, and Oswind sees Baron Chestnut Worthington. You're muted.
I say hello. I mean, I
Yeah. You're quietly, and so you hear an instrument. It doesn't quite sound like a violin. It's maybe a little deeper than a violin should be, right? It's like
there are instruments that do that.
Like viola, maybe.
I'm like, it's like almost like a violin, but it's like some kind of crazy clockwork version that's deeper.
So any instrument that you heard to be this deep is normally a little bit bigger than handheld, right? So she's playing this small handheld instrument, right? And it's maybe it's a young girl. Can't be more than 10, 15 years old, right? Something along that range. You can't quite make out, but she's very easy. She's holding
Well, not if she's
this
15, we
instrument.
can't.
Good point. Good point.
And,
Right, go on.
and so she's, the sound that's coming from this instrument is deeper than, that a string instrument like this should be making.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. All right. I guess I shake off the confusion of where the lady, the woman that I was following went. I see Sir Northington, and I see this girl playing the violin or something akin to a violin. And I will, I guess, emerge from the edge of the clearing and approach her.
The clearing, which you said is a different clearing from the
Yeah.
other one?
It's much darker, right? Like the other one was like bright, there was like lights, there was movement. This is not the case, right? Like this is like you would not have reached a clearing yet, but you definitely didn't see this from where you were standing before, right? So, Kim, as you approach her, she the music begins to get a little bit faster, but still with the same low tones.
Say, excuse me, miss. What are you doing out here?
So when you're close enough to see her clearly, you see that it's a young girl. She's maybe it's dark, right? So you're sort of inspecting her by moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
She's maybe 12 years old or so. She stops playing. She's holding some sort of weird instrument that only has 3 strings on it. The bow is a little bit different too. It maybe it's taught in 2 different, like the strings are taught in 2 different locations. And so she stops and she looks at you, and she like tilts her head sideways and she says, "You're not supposed to be here." And she like kind of like cocks her head sideways a little bit.
I say, excuse me, miss, but I can provide my invitation if needed.
Sassy.
She says,
I'm gonna stay behind. By the way, I'm gonna watch this and make sure there's not somebody else.
As I say, I'm looking for some fellow partygoers that seems to have wandered off. You know, if they came through here. I think it was, what is it? It's 2 women,
2 women
and
and a man.
Yeah.
She says, "Oh no, I've only had a young man come to listen to my concert, but this was very recently." And
this he wouldn't have been dressed as a footman, would he?
And
he was like 40. He was no young man.
So she says, "That's it exactly."
Wait, ask if he was footman number 3.
Did you happen to catch his name? Not that I know it, but
his designation.
Okay, so
yeah, I say, are you sure you should be out here so late in the middle of the night, in the middle of the winter? You'll catch a cold.
Says, once my concert is over, and my audience is satisfied, I'm gonna head home.
I kind of turn around to look in front of her, expecting, what audience? What audience are you speaking of?
So she just sort of looks down into the water, right? And as you follow her gaze, you see that she doesn't have a reflection. It's the footman. He's in the water, underneath, wriggling around, all over the place, underwater, trying to swim up.
I say, footman number 3.
Can we call him Giles?
Giles?
Giles. He doesn't seem
footman number 3 would have been better.
Yeah, seriously. Come on, Giles.
So he's like really deep in this pond.
He's maybe like 3 feet, but he can't seem to like swim up any higher. He's doing like the right swimming motions. He's like 3 feet under the water, but he's not. You see him like doing like full like strokes like up, but he's not making any progress.
I say, what foul magic is this?
Correct.
She says it's not foul,
Say,
and she like looks. a little bit
release
hurt.
this poor footman. It's done nothing to you.
He says,
Well, we don't know that for sure. He might not have
says-
realized she was 12.
Giles, you dirty.
I don't think she's 12.
Oh, you don't say.
So she says, "Fine, but I'll just find someone else to play the concert, to play my concert for." And she like begins to walk away, and like into the forest. And as she does, like eventually the footman ends up just like pushing himself out of the pond and like laying down, like on the side as you like breathing.
All right,
breathing
if I
heavily.
see,
Say,
because
yeah,
from where I am,
I'll-
if I see a footman appear, I'm gonna come running forward.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
pull him up. I say, Giles, my good man, are you quite all right?
Besides
He
your
says-
name,
he like lies.
Is everything else okay?
Like lies there. He's like, I'm so tired. I felt like I've been swimming nonstop.
Have you?
Say, did
I
that
mean-
girl do this to you?
Is that exactly what happened?
As I wandered out, I fell into this pond, and he's like holding his throat. He's like, I could breathe underwater and I could swim, but I just couldn't make it to the top. And he's like trying to figure out, like holding his throat, trying to like.
I say,
trying to figure
Giles,
out-
you ninny, I gave you specific instructions.
Slap smack the guy.
This will be coming out of your pay, Giles.
You had 2 options, okay, Giles? The Han's gonna hear about this. Oh, the Han's gonna hear about it.
Forget about taking the weekend off.
Seriously.
So, Kim, thanks for pointing that out to me. It's actually very important because you begin to get a little bit lightheaded as you're standing here kneeling over, Giles recounting a story.
I believe I might be getting the vapors.
Well, it is a really boring story.
It's yeah. So
I really think it's Giles' fault.
you sort of have to take a knee yourself because this is a little bit it's a little bit too much, right? Like this is just a little bit crazy, and you did successfully recognize that it's some sort of magic, whether it's foul or not. That's up in the air.
Okay, so they die. Me and Aaron, I guess, go home and live
Yeah.
the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens.
Good job,
No.
guys.
So as you stand there tending to Giles, you begin to hear a female voice almost chanting like right past the tree line, right?
Where
Like
did she
maybe-
go?
So she just wandered off, right? She just sort of walked into the distance, and like you looked away for a little while to see what's happening here, and you look back, she was gone. She just like no, but the closer tree line that you're next to standing, there's like a little bit of like bush, a little bit of shrubs, and you hear like it's almost chanting, maybe like a much deeper like, but it's definitely female. It's definitely chanting. It's interrupted by a very like bass at some point, right? Like a very loud, like it's emphasizing something, right? So there's like a chant, and then like some sort of like boom, boom, right? Like, but it's definitely a voice. That's what it sounds like. And it's right. It's like right. It's not too far from you. Maybe like 10 yards from you, like right past the tree line where you're located.
I say, Sir Northington, this dinner party is going a little bit off the rails.
Perhaps we
I
should
said, my
return
God,
to
you're
the
right.
country.
We're missing the second course. Let's get back immediately.
Say it's
Um,
definitely in the top 3 most interesting dinner parties I've ever been to.
I say, my goodness, please tell me about the other two in your top three, because this is.
All right.
This is
So
definitely-
while you guys are
now's not the
discussing
time,
this
Sir Northington.
and helping Giles to his feet, Hal,
we never said we were going to do that.
Hal and Otto.
Guys, you'll have
And
to crawl.
applying the dagger to Giles's throat, getting the fuck out of there.
Hal, Otto, William, and the princess who are standing outside, you begin to hear almost like a very, very deep, like conversation, right? Like it seems like two,
like really
two,
philosophical.
yeah.
Like fucking
It's-
deep.
It's like. It's like
Alright.
tenor deep, right? Like it's very, very, very low.
Deeper than a violin should be able to make.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright.
All right.
But
Is
are
there,
they
like, a
discussing
direction
philosophy?
coming from?
I'm sorry.
Is there a direction this is coming from?
Yeah. So it's essentially right where Baron Chester Northington and Oswind and the footman like headed in that direction, but it's not far, right? It just seems like it's some sort of like this conversation's happening. It's definitely not the people that you're looking for. Like nobody has this deep of a voice.
Yep.
Um,
I drink
don't
some
know
more
that.
of the beer that Otto gave me, and
It's working.
say, that is an interesting thing that's happening over there that I'm sure has nothing to do with us at all.
It's just
I mean,
normal Christmas discussions.
Yes.
Like,
as-
do you think Santa Claus will come this year? Yes, maybe. I don't know.
Clockwork
Um,
Santa Claus.
I say, perhaps we should go back inside, Princess. Food is getting cold.
so
So
the princess
hungry.
looks off into the direction. She's like, "What is that? Is that them?" And she like
No.
looks.
Like, it doesn't. It really doesn't sound like them.
There's definitely nobody that we know that sounds like that, Princess.
So William says he like pulls out a pistol and he's like, I can't. He's like, that's my brother. It has to be. And he like begins to like walk into like.
I'll like grab his arm. Like this. It doesn't sound anything like your brother.
Nope.
Are you just assuming that it has to be your brother because it's literally a voice that's out there? Like, I don't. Pull yourself together, man.
Smack
like-
him.
Also, wait, why would he brandish a pistol if he thinks it's his brother? That seems.
He's trying to
this
take
is
away my inheritance.
this is my
his brother was
chance
trying to
to
inherit.
knock off the competition.
It's just that Steven's been having his way with the horses recently, and
Somebody's got to pay.
He's become a bit
That
yeah.
fucking terrible violinist I paid to kill my brother has failed. Now I have to do the job myself.
So
Just
he like
playing-
you're like
He's playing a cello
like-
to taunt me.
you're like holding his arm. You're holding
Yeah.
his arm, and he looks in the distance. He's like, he's in trouble. Hal, I feel it.
That's as may be, but your premonition is simply that. It's a premonition. We have nothing to go on here. We're just as likely that you will wander off into the woods, and 5 minutes later, your brother will show up here, and then he'll
Or-
go wandering off into the woods.
It's a vicious
possibly
cycle.
Your brothers counter hired a violin assassin to knock you off the mark.
Let's not get crazy here. How many violin assassins do you think there are wandering around the cheap side of London at this time of night? All right.
At most 3 or
Probably
4.
only about 6 or 7.
side of Clockwork London.
So Baron
Clockwork
and
keeps on.
Oswind, you hear it seems like the chanting stops, but this loud like screech. I don't want to say.
Are we like surprised by all this stuff?
Oh,
that's
of
This
happening?
course. It's like not far at all, right? It's like right over the tree line, and you're just sort of like standing there, like, sitting there, like listening to it, and it's like right, like this, like because like the chanting stops.
That was
and this-
chanting.
It's
No. The chanting
it's
of
the
cops,
The new
Skrillex.
Wait, I love
Right,
this
like-
part.
Hold on, just wait for it. Here comes
Wait.
third. And so and
everyone goes fucking crazy.
so here's
drops
so,
their shit.
so besides like breaking into like some sort of sweet dance, what do you three do? I'll assume the footman follows your instructions.
That would be a first.
I mean, he hasn't done it before, so I'm
He
not sure why
tried.
you're giving him so much leeway here.
I'm not sure how he ended up being a footman for the friggin' royal family because he's not getting top marks tonight. Anyways, I guess I will. I guess make my way back to my feet, and I say something unnatural is going on here, Sir Northington.
What's the Clockwork version of duh?
Clockwork, duh.
TikTok.
You don't
I say
say.
Clockwork duh. No,
You don't say.
I say indeed.
Oswin.
Conrad, good chum. I say
Jolly-o.
perhaps we ought to go. Unfortunately, we ought to abandon that interesting young violin assassin and find the source of those cries of help from young Stephen Webb.
We must.
I mean, I don't know. Must is a little strong, but it seems like the right thing to do.
All right, I say. Well, let's do it then. Come on, Giles. Look out for any pawns.
Giles.
So as you stand up to walk with them, you pursue where the
The
young lady
sound of
went to?
Stephen Webb's crying was from, I think.
Could we go looking for the mad beats?
Okay.
Whoop,
So-
whoop, whoop.
We're waiting
as-
for them to drop.
So as you're walking closer, they're actually no longer as high as no longer as low as you originally thought, and they're actually getting higher and like they're going up. And as you get closer, you distinctly hear Hal's voice saying, "Are you crazy, man? You're just gonna get yourself lost in the forest." Right? And he's like, you see him holding back William. Like as William is like brandishing his pistol, like in that direction, like he's like trying to head towards you, and as you sort of like stumble out from like the forest, you guys see each other. So you were like 15 minutes of travel away. There is no Euclidean way for you to like,
Yeah, but this is Clockwork London. I mean,
right, anything could happen, but you were, for all intents and purposes, unless you got really turned around and didn't notice it, you sort of were carving like a straight path forward, following these tracks,
sure.
to get turned around a little bit and walk 30 seconds in the wrong direction or in a different direction, and like following the violinist or whatever, and you end up back at the house with Otto and with these guys. Like you guys are kind of like helping Giles along, and Giles, and he and you guys brings and he's like the first to speak. He's like, "What the hell?"
Giles,
And he like sort of like,
language.
Yeah, seriously.
"Ladies, the princess is
Christ,
there,"
this guy.
and she says, "Did you find her?" And she like looks around like behind you, but like obviously doesn't see Judith. Oh, also William or Stephen, whatever.
Alice?
I say we must
No
have
one cares
gotten
about
turned
Alice.
around.
Yeah,
No one even knows who
that's
the
why I was
fuck Alice
asking. It
is.
seems like nobody cares about Alice.
I don't even know how she got invited to this fucking party.
Nobody knows. No one knows.
It's a miracle or a travesty, I suppose.
I'll say something strange is going on out here. Perhaps the princess should stay indoors.
Princess. I mean, if she wants to be safe.
She goes, "Why is everybody telling me to go inside? Where's Judith?"
Judith.
That is a great question. What did you find out there?
That is a great question.
All right.
So Tim, I didn't have you roll any mysteries. I don't know if you have it, but
I think
feel
I actually
free
do
to
have
say.
mysteries.
I don't have any mysteries.
I have
almost-
I have a skill point in mysteries.
Give me try to reason out these mysteries for me, Kim. At a 3, if you can.
Oh. No negatives. What am I? There we go. Draw. Oh, I drew a -4. I don't know what's going on. I get a 0.
All right. So I think by this point you guys have drawn through all of the negatives in the deck. So
I've gotten
you know
3. This is my third -4, by the way. It's bullshit. This deck is rigged. 100% rigged.
So as you know, you definitely you're not sure what's going on, but you can, from the tingling on on the back of your neck and your spine and the frailness, you can sort of take a stab at you know what it was and whether or not it was directly targeting you. But it was it was a source of magic, like what it was, where it was coming from. None of that you can tell, but based on your condition, you can very easily tell.
Is magic something that everybody kind of knows is a thing, or is it like a?
Everybody kind of knows that like the Pontus is a thing, and that the world kind of comes apart at the seams. But it's like
I'm just wondering if I go like, there's like some magic shit going on out here. Is everybody gonna be like, oh, like that sucks, or is it gonna be like, you're fucking crazy, dude?
No, nobody's gonna be like you're crazy, because I think most of the items that you have are magical, right?
That's
and
true, I
everybody
guess.
saw their
That's true.
display somewhat. So like, and I think that you do encounter on occasionally like changelings and Nephilim, right? So that it's not.
it
So
kind of
what's
depends
my-
on where it depends on where you're from and where you've been, how much you would have experienced.
Sure. So, what would my guess at like what the young girl violinist be? That she's some kind of fae or something like that?
Yeah, so anytime from like right, like you have a little bit of mysteries, but anytime there's like a dark forest involved, with
Dark Forest?
yes, like if there's any sort of like magic stuff going on in dark forest, it's either like the Pontus unraveling or the Fae. That's like the two scenarios, because the other different types of magics live in like different locations.
Then
Right,
I'll
like
say,
forest is like druidic, hermetic, and Fae territory.
so I'll say, your Majesty, I'm not quite sure what has happened, but it seems to be some kind of fae magic going on out here. I'm not sure it'd be safe for you to venture into the woods.
She like raises like one eyebrow and she says, "The Fae." She says, she says that. So Judith was right.
I don't know. She didn't tell me.
Probably
anything.
not.
I have no idea. What did Judith tell you?
Yes.
I don't
She
even know
says-
her name.
She says, no. She says, Judith, she said that she was pursued the entire time. We never believed her. Christina said it's absurd.
The entire time she was doing what?
Yeah, really.
Perhaps you should speak in complete sentences.
She looks down. She says, just I guess for the past 15 years.
What?
Fucking what?
Oh, that clears it up.
She's
Thank
been.
you. You have spoken like a
She's
reasonable
always
person.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
She's always
Holy cow.
complained that the Fae were playing tricks on her, that they pursued her no matter where she went, that she was cursed or something. Muted, Nick.
I said as one tends to be. Just cursed.
Yeah, it's just, but that was never. She's like, but who believes such stories, right? And she's like shocking. And when we
Good friends believe such stories.
and when we consulted Christina, Christina dismissed it as absolute nonsense, and that things like that don't really exist.
Wait, so you went to like the combination of a hedge mage and a like small town pharmacist to find out whether like someone was being pursued by the Fae? That's That was the plan. That was the grand strategy here.
Says, no, we also went to Lund, and he said he confirmed Christina's
Cursed status.
No,
no,
Christina's just the like
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
charlatan.
no, he said Godwick. He's like, no, we also confirmed with Godwick Lund, and he said that's absolutely not the case. It can't possibly be because I don't know. He says he gave a whole bunch of reasons, and at that point, I just thought Judith was playing tricks on me, so I didn't even bother paying attention.
Aren't there people that are like actual elves that like just walk around and have like houses and jobs?
No,
like
not like in the open.
Also,
Like, not
what
in
is-
society.
what is Godwick? Okay.
Godwick Lund, yeah, he's the.
Yeah. What are his credentials,
He was-
by the way?
he was
like,
the-
I understand his.
He was the fashion advisor.
No, he's the religion, magic, and Pontus advisor.
Oh, okay.
But like, let's be real. Some of these appointments are like horse shit appointments that people get through nepotism or family line or something like that. And
Undoubtedly.
sometimes, very
Definitely
rarely,
the Pontus advisor position.
someone like qualified gets appointed to a position. So when we're
Right, but I
talking
mean, is
Godwick
he really
Lund,
gonna turn it
like,
down? Like he can't just look a gift.
oh no, listen, I'm not saying that this is Godwick's fault. I'm just asking, like, when you go to Godwick, does that, like, for someone who's in the know, is that meaningful? Is he actually someone who is respected as having any particular knowledge in that area, or is he just like, the guy who was put in that post?
If you want to try to bureaucracy find out,
Yeah, man. I haven't pulled cards in like years. Let's do this shit.
Yeah,
all right.
do it. Give me a roll.
It's gonna be bureaucracy on what?
Oh my god, I gotta look at these. Bureaucracy and reason, right?
All right.
I think it's reason to like recall or something.
Okay.
Oh, and it's check 3.
It doesn't matter. I drew a -5, so.
This deck is rigged. I'm telling
I thought
you.
you said
there's
there was like
nothing
only
but-
one -5 in this deck, and we've got like several -5s. We've got like at least 8 -4s. I think I counted.
Hold on, no, it can't be 8.
1, 2, 3. Kim's had 3 alone.
Listen. I don't want to hear it. Like, I think there's one point where Kevin rolled like 8 9s in a row or something like that. Right?
Because
Kevin's
I was
taken-
rolling like +7 on all of those rolls.
I was gonna say I'm looking at Kevin, and he has 2 -4s.
Yeah.
I've got 2 -4s.
The cards are like, I mean, they sort of worked in their own way, especially with their conditions when we did a lot of social stuff in our Gen Con game. But like, in general, they can be really weird because they just you're never going to have high enough. I mean, maybe eventually you would, but right now our skills are not high enough to like make a huge difference. Like a lot of these cards are just either wiping you out or making you pass on your own anyway.
It matters more for combat because combat all checks are zeros.
That's fair. I'm just saying, like, a lot of these cards are like you would pass or fail just based on the card, and our skill is starting to become meaningless, basically.
Well, more importantly, if you look at the cards that have been drawn, I'm not sure that like Nick might have a positive net.
I have a ton of positive cards,
but I don't know that you have like much of a positive net because that gets a little offset by the -5 that you have, as well as the 3 -2s.
No, I'm actually I think it's like 12 to 11 in favor of negatives.
And like I have a net of -13. Kevin has definitely got a negative net of like a substantial amount, like -9, and I can't imagine that Kim's got much of a positive net given his like literally 3 -4s and
But
3
that's what I'm saying.
3s.
Like we've either basically been like passing anyway because we get a one way or the other, or
no.
like,
What I'm saying is like either there's something wrong with the deck, or like at some point we're gonna start succeeding checks by like 6 all of the time and never stop, right?
Like how many
due.
cards are in the
We're
deck?
due.
So there's 100 cards. There's 9 -4s and 9 +4s and 3 5s and 3 -5s.
And we've drawn 7 of the -4s. And like I think 2 of the -5s. It's like, all right. I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing, deck. I
But-
get you.
It is still like this
Setting
is.
us up for a grand finale.
I
So
mean, I would.
when we fight the devil or whatever it is that's coming, then like that's when
Yeah.
all of the positive 4s are gonna come.
I'd say reshuffle, but at this point, you guys
Oh,
got
no,
a lot of
no.
negative stuff. Right?
No, we're definitely not reshuffling. We're fucking walking out into that pond as that violinist plays and see what the fuck happens.
So as eventually the princess says, "So what exactly did you see there?"
Well, Sir Northington will confirm this. We followed some figures into the woods, and we came upon what appeared to be a young woman playing a violin, and poor old Giles here had fallen in, I guess, been trapped in a pond, and when the young woman stopped playing, he was able to escape. Seems like she was trapping him as a audience for whatever
Baron
magic
Chester
song she was
Northington-
playing.
It was like, no, this never happened.
Baron Chester steps forward importantly, clears his throat, and says,
It's full of shit.
I confirm his story.
Yes.
All right. Kevin, give me a focus mysteries check of 3, please. Or you could try. You could try to do whatever you want, but because as you're standing there, like listening to this conversation, you know, it's may or may not be ringing some bells.
Okay.
Good luck, my friend.
Got a few more negative 4s we gotta plow through.
Yeah, there's like 4 of them left on the deck.
We're almost there.
I think there's like 2 of them
I
left in the
think I
deck.
got the Doom card.
What?
Oh,
That card
Oh, that's
says-
like a thing, right?
Yeah, it is a thing.
it's gone
So
from bad to worse.
Oh, yeah, it has. All right. Well,
So Baron Chester Northington dies.
yeah, he does.
He succumbs to. It was so mysterious. He simply could not take it. His heart gave out right then and there.
For gameplay purposes, like the Pontus is going to get wackier than has been thus far. But Kevin, you get to pull one more card to actually solidify your action to figure out
All right.
what's happening. Like the Doom card is like just says like, oh, like Pontus doing crazy stuff.
All right.
Yeah,
I
we
get a
know.
6 then.
Yeah, that
We
doesn't
saw the
sound
violinist.
surprising.
Yeah. So as you're listening to the story, you begin to remember a lot of stories that were exchanged, during your original training as a witchfinder, and things like this. There's definitely, entrapment magic, and this is like the highest illegal form of like entrapment magic, right? Like essentially holding someone prisoner against their will, like full body like control, mental magic, right? Like, and
Is that
it
kind
is,
of what the princess did to us with her party?
yeah, but you chose to do it. But also, Kevin pulled a Doom card, Nick. Just right. And so, but you do begin to recognize that that this is not. This is like not like kosher stuff. Like this is definitely like the highest level of like bannable magic offense, when it comes, especially from like the Witchfinder order. Like and you don't know if they're like making it up or whatever, but both of them seem to be saying like, yes, this exactly like this is what happened, and nobody asked the footman because he's just a stupid footman as he's lying, but he's there like nodding his head as well, like remembering, like holding his throat as they're like telling about like him, being unable to or being able to breathe and all this stuff, right? So on top of that, the charms that you seem to that you remember regarding illusion weaving and stuff like that, also highly illegal, are it's all like coming forth to your teachings that you hope never to have or maybe hope to have encountered in your career, is all like culminating like right here.
Right. But I think I basically knew all of that before, essentially. I mean, I guess be a little more defined, but yeah, I mean, I think that's basically where we're at. Like, we all kind of knew some weird magic shit was going on.
Oh
And
no,
that
no,
it probably wasn't
absolutely.
good.
What I'm saying is like you are able, your success is able to like tell you that this type of magic is, by your order, is like strictly forbidden, right? There's certain magics that are like frowned upon and like people get like a slap on the wrist. We're like entering like execution type, execution territory and like burn the whole forest down sort of thing.
Okay.
We already tried that.
Yeah, I think that's basically where we're at. I don't know. That doesn't seem to Ulysses. That doesn't seem to really change the shape of the. I mean, it's basically what he was.
He was kind of already planning on executing.
It's already there.
everybody.
I mean,
It's already happened.
Ulysses has already killed 3 of the members of the party and is just waiting for a chance to kill everyone else. So
Yeah, no. Ulysses is definitely just waiting for, I don't know, the obvious wizard lady to show up again so he can shoot her in the head and then take everybody else into custody, or
So as Giles, Barchester Northington, and Conrad Osmond are standing there, like recounting this tale, all of you very clearly hear the plea for help coming from Stephen Webb in the distance, right? For those of you that have tactics, why don't you give me a check on that? I mean, you could all do a check. You don't have to have tactics, but give me a presence tactic check, please.
presence.
It's check 2. Yeah, check 2.
I don't have any tactics. Can I just presence this shit?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, even if you don't have tactics, you're fine too. This is where all your 5s, you can take them.
Yeah, all right. I get a 6.
7.
A 4.
Look at that.
Fucking all coming around. What about Ulysses?
Doesn't care. Who's a Stephen Webb character? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I honestly do not give a shit about Stephen Webb.
It is
I don't
very.
have tactics, so I thought you said people with that skill should roll it.
It's okay. It's okay. So to those of you that rolled like higher than a 2, right? It seems very trap-like, right?
Okay.
Like
I'm not sure that anybody needed to roll a check for that to be obvious.
Again, things that I think we already arrived.
Right, like
we arrived at for 200, Alex.
It's a little bit more like Baron
All right.
and Osmond have heard it before, and now it's sort of like following you, crying for help, right? Like this voice.
Baron Chesney-Northington's like, I've heard this before, and it's a ruse. All it did was lead me back here, and it led Footman number 3 almost to his doom. I say, as unfortunate as it is, Stephen Webb's on his own.
Wait, what is Otto's?
I don't know what Otto said.
Let us forget these petty magic. Let's head back inside where there's a warm fire and good beer.
It's cold fire.
Either way,
and terrible beer
and warm beer. No, this is
right,
the worst type of magic.
It is England.
At second thought, let us head into the mouth of hell.
And they skipped off to their deaths.
Happily. Isaiah, what is this silliness? In Germany, we do not have these things. We just
Clockwork Germany.
We just drink beer. Sometimes we slay a dragon. It's fine.
I ask
wonderful.
The Clockwork German man why his Clockwork German accent.
Don't ask him that. Don't ask him that.
That's just how Clockwork Germany works.
He's aware. He's aware.
It's not a German accent, it's a Clockwork German accent.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, which is not meant to bear any resemblance to any accent. World accent.
Essential.
But you hear another cry for help, but this time it's like at the end of it, it's almost as if whoever is like calling the cry just sort of like breaks down and like giggles instead at the end of it. It's like help, right?
Let's say
so
pay these tricksters no mind.
Hal will shout back, "No, you help us!" And then wait to see what happens. It just seems polite.
So the princess stands up and she says, "Will none of you do anything? That's Stephen."
It is
Alright, so
most...
I say,
Your Majesty, you might be an idiot.
Listen,
hold on.
Her
Hold on.
Majesty rolled not so well. She pulled a -2. You know, plus
Alright, Alex.
Yes, sir.
Alex, is there a second floor near where we're standing?
Near, I mean,
What does that mean?
yeah,
Like we're next to the house, right? Is there like a window on the second floor near here?
you can run upstairs and go. Yeah, you can look out the second floor, but like,
I say, Hal, please come and help me. I have a task we must perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say, Princess, please stay here for a moment. We shall elucidate the situation.
Sounds good. Baron, Conrad, if you could just make sure that no one wanders off into the woods accidentally, that would be wonderful. That's
Yeah.
all.
I mean, we'll do that, but I have the feeling that the witch hunter is like starting his execution rampage with you.
That's fine. Honestly.
That's unacceptable.
That would be all right.
So,
in the
as you
scheme
guys-
of possibility.
as you guys are leaving, the princess like stands there in like disbelief. She like throws the blanket shed over her, and she says, "All these men, and all of them do nothing." And then she looks at William. She's like, "Let's go get your brother." And like,
I say, Princess, just a moment longer, please. Bear with me.
Say it's a fate trap, Your Majesty. We should not be so foolish as to fall into it.
all right, Kevin, convince the princess.
All right, what I got to roll here?
So what do you parlay is the conversation, right? Give me presence plus parlay of 3.
All right.
Parlay 3.
All right, so that's +5.
Here we go. What's happening?
All
I
right.
rolled a -1, so that's a 4.
Okay. So hold on. Okay, so she says, she says, okay, she says 1 minute, but then we're going, and she like, she goes inside and like calls, she like peeks in and like starts calling for like some footman or her butler or something along the lines, just for some like
Sure.
help.
I'm gonna go like stand in front of her so she doesn't like run off like an idiot.
All right, so I'm going to
Oh,
take
she's
Hal
not an idiot,
upstairs.
Kim.
I
Ooh,
think that's becoming abundantly clear that she has little
Listen,
regard for reality.
Everybody's allowed to roll a negative at some point, Kim.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm just saying, like, the normal, like, the default royal behavior would be just do what you're told.
That's probably...
By
these
her
are-
equals.
These are simple folk that are used to taking direction.
I am. All right. Anyways, I'm going to take Hal upstairs, and we are going to go to Christina's room and get the chest with the statue in it, and then dump it out of the second floor window that is like next to these people, so it smashes onto the ground.
Hold on 1 second.
All right, but that sounds like a lovely idea. I'm so 100% on board for this.
Okay, sorry. It's take the chest,
We're
dump
going
the
to take
chest.
the statue, and we're going to push it out of the second floor window so that it smashes onto the ground next to these people.
Okay, you're gonna like give him like a 4, like stay out of the way kind of
Well, I'm
thing.
not going to drop it like
Yeah.
directly onto the princess.
Dude,
Get her!
is that be an option?
I mean,
So-
I guess.
So yeah,
It's safer
the
than
two-
leaving her by herself.
as you're walking up, you're like just like kick her room open pretty easily.
If the lock that I jimmied before is a problem, I will just shoot it with my pistol.
No, it's not. You're just able to super jimmy it again. You get into the room. You take the two of you. It's a little weird that you're going to someone else's room, Hal, but like it seems like Otto is determined to do so. And you pick up this like trunk which has like clothes in it, but it's very heavy. Maybe like, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds, right? Like,
My
it's
God, what did this
definitely
charlatan bring with her?
um and you come to the, Ulysses takes you to like the window, and you like opens wide and like just like flips, like unzips it and like flips the contents out, and this giant statue of
He
a
opens wide and
fox
unzips it.
standing in its hind quarters there. It's like standing there, like it has like it's like a fox statue. The teeth are bared, and it has its like paws in front of it, but they're human hands on the fox as opposed to like fox paws, right? And it crashes to the ground. It smashes with relatively high speed, like falls from the second floor, but it just sort of falls, and nothing, not a single dent like happens. It doesn't break. It doesn't crack. Like nothing happens to it.
All right. Otto is going to pull out his pistol and wait
Shoot
at the
princess.
window. Yeah, with it cocked.
So
Hal will
The
do a
rest-
line of cocaine while he.
this party's off the rails, guys.
The Baron has like found a barmaid and is like
Yes.
desperately getting wasted.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right. That was where I thought
This
that
is
was
what I
going.
was trying to do for the whole adventure, and now that I'm doing something else, you're going to do that? Come on,
Well,
man.
someone's got to like hold down the fort.
Well, I heard. Yeah, exactly. I heard you weren't just constantly
All right.
drinking
Well, I'm
beer
going back
anymore.
to drink more.
So the princess, like, like you guys are standing there, and this like giant stone falls maybe like 10 feet off to the side of where you're standing, and it looks like some sort of like big statue, like maybe like 2-3 feet high statue, and it like lands and it, like scares the crap out of you, and then you see Otto out the window with like a pistol in his hand.
So
I'm not like hanging out the window. I'm just waiting in case if I see Christina, I will wait until I can guarantee that I will put a bullet between her eyes, and then I will put a bullet between her eyes, and we can all go home.
Herr Hohenstuper, care to explain yourself?
It's Hohenstaufen.
Whatever.
Oh, you're talking to me?
How in stupor are you? Jesus Christ.
I say, Princess, you've been duped. The woman you've gone to for help is a practitioner of evil magic.
And
We
probably
should,
kind of a bitch.
Isn't Christina here?
Is she?
She's inside. No, like she didn't come outside with you guys. The only people that came outside are she's inside. William.
Oh, then I'll go kill her.
Okay.
I thought she was in the forest.
No,
Oh,
no.
God, if only she were in the forest.
So most of the other party guests went inside. They're like sitting at the table. The only ones that are outside are
Oh.
Princess William and a few footmen and you guys.
Princess William?
Princess, William, like I don't know if you want me to say comma every single
All
time.
right.
No, it just was not. It was not clear.
I like
Ready to get
Princess
this
William.
murder party started?
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm with you for
The
statue
Baron-
flipping, but I'm not much of a murderer. I think
Baron,
that's
like,
on you.
downs the
Yeah, but I
drink.
mean, like, I just really need you to like morally support me.
Yeah, I mean, whatever gets you off, man.
The Baron can morally
All right.
support that.
All right, so I will. Yeah, I mean, sure. I will say, Baron, please aid me in assisting the witch.
In assisting the witch? I'm not going to assist a witch.
Aid me in.
Oh, sorry, arresting the witch.
There you go. That makes more sense.
Okay. I'm like,
English
oh,
isn't,
arresting
English
the
isn't his
witch.
first language. You'll have to forgive him.
Yeah, come on, guys, please.
I guess no. He's just really drunk, and the Baron's so drunk that he heard arresting, even though that's not what was said.
That's
So
fine.
he nods and follows you, with like all his weapons drawn.
So at this point, the princess says, "Wait, what? No, she's not." Says she's just like a trickster. All she has is
No.
like flashy,
What does that
fun.
mean? What
No,
does that mean?
Okay,
Definitely an evil sorceress.
What kind of idiot
Yes.
are you?
flashy, fun toys, and that's it. Like she,
Well,
I'm
that's
not-
also illegal, so I'm going to arrest her.
I'm not certain that a fox with human hands is a flashy, fun toy. That's got to be like top 10 horrifying things that you could do with statuary. Like
Like
really?
what, Fox?
Like maybe
Lions, tigers, both good.
like a flexing kangaroo on all fours. That would be creepier. But I don't know.
Or like a hippopotamus.
No, they're fine.
They're fucking terrifying, dude.
I mean, in real life, but statuary wise, they're not creepy.
Either way. Let's arrest this. Let's arrest this lady and get out of here. Sprinkle some crack on her.
She says, what does this have to do with the? She says, Otto. Like
I say, stop
questioningly.
calling me.
My name is Baron von Hohenstaufen.
She says, what does this have to do with Judith?
Something Judith is dead, you idiot.
I say, strange magical disturbances, and you think it's just a coincidence that illegal statuary is found in your friend's room?
She says, I don't know what makes you the authority on calling these things illegal.
Did you just call him Otto
but
again?
I said, I don't know.
This badge that says official person who calls these things illegal.
Dramatically unmask myself, finally revealing my clever ruse.
Puts
No,
down
no,
a stein, and you're
It
like,
just
"Oh
wasn't
my
that
god!"
Clever.
But I was Mrs. von Hohenstaufen the whole time.
The Baron, who's gotten so drunk that he forgot he knew that you were Ulysses Winterfig and not Baron von Hohenstaufen, drops his drink and makes a gasp of surprise.
Yeah, I will unmask myself and reveal my badge of office as both a priest and a witch finder.
She like stands at the front door. She's like, but this isn't the only item. She's not the only one that brought an illegal item here.
Yeah, but she brought a lot and big ones.
Ma'am, I don't think you understand.
I have to arrest her. Like,
I don't think you understand how the police work. I just do whatever I want.
She says, fine, do your arrest. I'm going to get Judith. And she says, come on, William. And she takes takes William by the hand, and he looks back at you guys, but
I'm standing right in front of her.
I will literally shoot William in the head.
I'm standing right in front of her,
Wow.
so she can't go anywhere, right? So I tell her, I'm sorry, Your Majesty,
Fails.
but we can't let you leave. It's not safe. It's for
She,
your own
like,
safety. You'll have to go back inside.
Have we officially kidnapped the princess? Because I mean, we've been talking about doing that for a long time. But I
feel
think
like
Wait, I thought we were kidnapping a Swedish princess.
I
No, we
mean,
did that before.
I feel
yeah,
like
we did that to get in.
once she interrupted
And then we
dinner,
ate
she kind of
meatballs.
invited this on herself.
That's true. That was fucking rude.
she clenches her teeth and she says, "Get out of my way." That's an order. To you,
We are already under orders to protect you.
From a higher authority. God and the Queen.
As soon as Ulysses says that, the fucking "God Save the Queen" starts playing in the background.
So
I'm sorry that you might be offended, Your Majesty, but the party is over. Let's return inside before any of these say get any more daring than they are.
she turns around and begins to huffs and begins to start walking into the house. And as she walks into the house, maybe 2 or 3 feet in, she stops and she yells, "Guards!" at the top of her lungs.
Well, we
All
can
right,
do that.
the footmen, who are all now loyal to John the Han Neville, come and rush to our aid.
So at this point, right? I don't know. Is there anything you want to do? You want to grab her? You want to tackle her to the ground? Beat her up a little bit? She just
Whoa,
and then she turns and faces you defiantly.
Who, me?
Yeah,
All
'Cause
right.
you're,
So she went inside, right?
yeah. She's
All right.
inside.
So I'll slam the door and lock it behind me, just to make sure she doesn't go back outside.
Well, we can kill guards too if that's how she wants to do this.
I mean,
Okay.
mostly I just want
I
to get
say,
out of this
Your
party
Majesty,
right now.
you-
The princess is stupid enough to get herself killed by Fae. Whatever. There's already a queen.
I'll tell her,
Everything's
look, Your Majesty, I think
that works.
I think we best just sit
We're
down and
right.
have our dinner and all go our ways. your guards aren't going to do anything. We're here under orders from your sister, so.
Mother?
Sister.
She says.
Sister?
She
I
I
says.
think it's a sister, right?
Yeah, it's just. She says, "My sister." She's like, "What does she have to do with this?"
What literally just told you exactly what you have to do with it.
I guess I'll repeat myself.
She says, "Under orders from what? Where are your papers?"
Do you have any papers?
No, why would we be given papers for a fucking like undercover operation to protect the queen's sister from her stupid ass self? That's not something that you like write down.
That's a good
Please
point.
protect my sister from her dumbass self. Take it.
All right. So at this point, the commotion is like you're in this like wide hallway that leads to the outside, to the back, and like the entire like party sort of like converges in that area, right? And you're standing down, like facing down the princess, while maybe 10 to 15 people kind of like stand there like looking on. So she says, so she repeats, she's like, your papers, your proof, your anything.
All right,
I'll, like,
produce
cock my
some papers.
First produce my pistol, I then produce my rapier.
Sorry, Nick, what did you say?
I produced some papers. I don't know, like.
No, I'll say, look, Your Majesty, I don't have some
I don't read.
warrant or letter to prove this to you. You will have to simply ask Her Majesty the Queen.
Hal pulls out the crystal that was his entry ticket to this particular party and tosses it to Arabella and says, "Where do you think we got these from?"
So Arabella like catches it, and she says, I have no idea.
I think you'll find that all of these come from the very room in the palace in which such things are kept.
I ask her if she's
Right next
daring to
To the
insult.
pile of red dicks. And see how she'll like that
Also,
one.
do you know what the pile of red dicks does? This is
Of
course
really-
Unrelated.
I
good
asked her-
to know.
Seriously,
She has no idea.
Han, who's standing there nodding along to
no
all
Han.
of our stuff. I say,
No Han.
his
no
name is
Han.
literally
No Han.
honorable.
No Han.
What do you mean, no
No.
Han?
No, huh?
He's like really tired from the firefighting. He's like laying down in the back.
We forgot him
There's
out in the
no
woods.
Han.
Oh god.
He,
He's trapped in that
He's-
lake.
he's got the vapors. Don't worry about it.
All right. He's magically like sealed.
Delicious.
He like
Yeah.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's like, the back and forth running got him like really dizzy, and he had to like lay down because he was like really
Yeah, that's fine. It's not here. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
not
Yeah.
here.
I was just using him as an illustration. He didn't actually need to. I say, are you questioning the word of that man sleeping in the back? He's honorable. You can't do that.
Um, so she turns back to like her like 3 footmen and like a butler that are like left, right? And she's like, get them out of my way. And they
It's
like,
Princess, don't force us to kill
did
these men.
you came back
They haven't
downstairs?
done anything.
So far it's just Kim and Nick. I thought you guys were still upstairs.
Well,
it's
You
okay.
said we all
Yeah,
just
yeah.
came back downstairs. I'll
Didn't
say,
you just say everybody converges in that hallway?
It's like
I
looking on.
guess. Okay, absolutely fine.
there's no
They come
reason
down-
for a commotion, but surely these men are not going to let Your Majesty go running out into the woods when there's obviously some foul plot at play.
Yeah, and some really deep violin music.
It's not even really
Fucking
good.
unsettling.
Unsettlingly deep.
So at this point,
Do you want me to roll or something, or draw a card? What do I have to do to convince her that she needs to just sit down and be quiet?
okay, so
Kill all the
Do-
footmen.
Do I have to murder these men in front of you?
what's
So-
Like this?
saying?
Ugh.
Everyone here?
How many innocents must die?
okay, so
Ain't nobody at this party that's innocent.
let's do this, Kim.
I don't feel like
If
the
we
footman really did anything bad.
Yeah,
If
no, they
they're
did.
at this party, they definitely did something fucking wrong.
Goddamn
Yeah,
purgatory.
I would say that's accurate.
Right. So your esteem. Do you remember what your esteem was against the princess? Right, because now you
I think
have
we
like
all had
a
a 2, right?
Mine was a
I
2.
think everybody had a 2, basically.
I think everyone except for Otto had a 2 and Otto had a 1.
Yeah.
okay. So shift yours by 1 minus, right?
Okay.
And because you're talking to like the princess who's not so happy, it's sort of weird. But the way it says is you get a -2 talking to someone higher than you, and -2 if you're lower than them. I'm just gonna give it 1 -2 as opposed to like because it's
Yeah,
like
'cause
it
that
sounds like
doesn't-
the same thing,
Which is,
right?
yeah.
So just 1 -2. So you start out with esteem -1, which is
Okay.
like
Not good.
No, it's not good. It's hostile, right? Like the room is hostile
That
towards
sounds
you
great.
because you're obviously like
Yeah, I think
you're
we've
stepping up.
established
I
that.
just gotta say, I'm not hostile towards him. I'm on board with what he's about to say.
Yeah, what's the rule if the room ends up being mostly PCs?
I think then it's like it doesn't matter then because then nobody knows, right? Like then
Okay.
nobody else will care, assuming the PCs keep their mouths shut.
So
Nobody
what you're
else.
saying is we have to murder, let me get this list, about 6
3
people,
footmen.
All right.
and then no one will sell any
He's-
tales.
The blood of these people
Well,
are in your
and
hands, Your
the-
Majesty.
and the other party goers, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean, there's 3, and then 3 of the party goers have already taken themselves out of the equation, kindly.
Well,
The Han is
Otto already
sleeping.
killed like 3 of them, right? So
Yeah. So it's like Christina, William.
I was going to kill
I-
Christina anyway, so.
So there you go. So that's already one done. One done. Winifred. I don't know who that is, but I think she likes
nobody
horses.
knows. Winnie, Fred.
So-
Sorry. So what am I rolling?
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
at a negative
it's-
1.
Okay, no, it's actually wrong because this isn't intrigue. This is social because for like principal reasons. So I'm sorry about that. So we're gonna switch to social combat instead, right?
Okay.
So social combat is done exactly like physical combat, only you fight with your social abilities, right? So your
Punch her
social
in the ego.
so you have your social guard, right? It's just under guard, which is your grace plus focus divided by 2. Right.
Okay.
And to essentially attack someone, it depends on what you're doing, right? If this is a negotiation, there's like seduction and temptation, intimidation or leadership, factual debate, emotional manipulation, or deceit and trickery. So like those are your like options, and whichever ones you choose correspond to the
So,
trait combination
okay.
that you use.
So I guess deep down, I'm just trying to reason with her, right? Like it's dangerous
Negotiate?
outside. There's obviously things going on. Just stay inside and be cool.
Isn't so negotiate.
Sure.
Okay, so that's presence and parley,
Presence.
and it's at 0 to hit.
All right. Well, unless there's like a -7 in here, possibly.
There isn't.
All right. I get a 5.
Okay, and what is the word on the card?
Outmaneuvered.
Okay, so essentially, your first conversation with the princess, you say like, hey, listen, like, you're being tricked, right? Like this isn't right. Like you're wrong, right? So she, yeah, you did, and he's great. So she, she's like visibly shaken by the fact that you're still standing up to her even when there's all these people, and she like takes a step forward like towards you where she's like almost within like almost within like touching range of you, and she says, listen, regardless of what you think your job is, you have no proof here, you have no you have no presence here, you can't just tell me what to do and I have to listen to you for no reason. And so she's gonna do intimidation.
Alright.
Draw. All right. So it's a negative. Sorry, it's a 2. So she succeeds and she lowers your guard by 1.
Okay.
So your
what was my card again?
it's your grace plus focus divided by 2.
Grace plus focus.
Right.
Divided by
How do you
that's,
how do you
that's 2, I guess.
round?
What, I'm sorry.
How do you round?
I don't know. I honestly don't have that.
Well,
I mean, you could
mine is
look it
2
up.
plus 2 divided by 2, so it's 2 again.
It's
so
2.
I guess it goes
so
1.
so here's what happens. Kevin. So anybody that wants to talk, you can pull 3 cards from the deck.
Okay.
Right. That's how it works. So
Nice.
this is social combat. Kim and the princess exchange like a few blows to begin with, but you essentially engage in like social combat with her because she wants
Do
to.
I also pull cards?
Yeah, you as well. 3 cards, right? Like the original one is nothing. So the princess draws a bunch.
Like, I'm not sure what the social combat part is because, like, I will literally kill everybody here and drag her out, like, bodily if that's what's required.
I need to draw 3 cards.
Like-
you're saying?
Sure, Kev, that's fine, but you're not like you're gonna be a criminal if it happens.
We're trying to
right?
do this without
I
bloodshed.
don't think that's
Otto.
true.
Are we?
I mean, then like you can play it out. You can just kill everybody, right? But I really think you'll end up being the criminal, especially if you drag her out and she testifies that you killed people in cold blood for like no reason, and you have no, like
Right, so
you
what
will
are
end up
the
a
3
criminal.
cards for? What are the 3
So
cards for?
these cards are your initiative.
Oh, that's right.
So these cards are your initiative, and each card gives you a turn, and you can use it to go during your turn. When you go during your turn, you flip another card to perform the act. So the card only is your initiative. Okay, with the lower numbers going first, I think. Correct.
I don't remember.
What's,
I know
what's
it's definitely one or the other. I can't you like
it depends
can't
on
you
what it
interrupt
was.
with priority to go as many times as you want, basically?
So no, sorry. You can interrupt by sacrificing 2 of your any cards.
Okay.
So you can give up 2 of your cards to go whenever you want, but then
Yeah.
you like lose a turn by getting to go early,
Okay.
right?
Did you say it was higher or lower that goes first?
So it's higher goes first. The higher number goes first because Doom always goes last, and Doom is 1.
I have a 5.
I also have a 5.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Can I actually take away all your cards because this is like a different scene? So I'm gonna take away your cards and make you all draw 3. Is that okay? Anybody like
Wait.
super attached to their cards?
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, why?
What does it
Because
matter?
like they all need to go back in because it's a new scene.
It's a
We're
new
shuffling
scene.
the deck.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're shuffling the deck.
This is fucking unreasonable.
No, you pulled some. All right, I'm recalling. All right,
Like,
so now
fucking, we spend all that time getting the shitty cards out of the deck, and then it's like, oh, look, time for a new scene.
Okay,
I guess we'll
so
have to
I
shuffle
dealt-
the
I
deck.
dealt everybody 3 cards. I actually get I get 3 more.
Okay, and for these, it's the number in the upper right hand corner.
No, it's that's a
Yes.
tiebreaker.
No. This is for initiative, and that is the number in the upper right hand corner.
Are you sure?
100%.
I thought that was the tiebreaker. If like 2 people have a 3, then you figure out who had the higher.
Oh, I have an 85 then.
Okay, so in this case, unless I pull out something higher because I get 6 cards, yeah, my highest is an
I-
82.
I technically have a 100. It's a card that says fate on it.
Fate.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so
The
fate
card's like the
is
best
like
card there is.
it's the best card like in the game, right? It's like the
Yeah.
anti-Pontus. So it gives you priority and it gives you like bonuses when you go. So like kind of what you do with it, it will almost always end up well. You still have to draw a card for your actions, but it like amplifies the good and downplays the bad on the result of your action.
Okay, and like I don't have to go immediately with it. I can just jump in whenever I want to.
No,
or-
you're 100. You have to, right? Like
Okay.
you sort of go
Okay,
in
that's
this.
fine.
Wait, I thought you could save any order you wanted to. You can't do that?
No, you
Okay.
start off. This is the order. The only way to skip this order, right? So I'm displaying my. You guys can see my cards, right?
Yeah.
So this is the order that I'm gonna go with. That I'm gonna go in, right? Like I know we have 185 to go first, and then 82 that goes next. So
I have an
Aaron,
83.
so this is unless you specifically want to mix in like physical combat. This is like
No.
you can. It's not
Yeah, but I don't.
right. I'm just saying you can, but like it's
Okay.
gonna remain social until someone specifically says like I want to like punch this dude in the face.
All right. Yeah. No. I mean, I think Hal comes down into the center of the floor where the confrontation has been taking place and says, "Your Majesty, I apologize. I think that we've become more of a confrontation than we wanted to. Um, all that we are concerned about is your safety. If you would simply agree to stay inside of the house with even a reasonable small guard, then the rest of us could go out with William to find his brother Stephen, as well as Alice and Judith. And we could do our best to discover whether this is some kind of plot, whether it's just the Fae having, their idea of a good time, or
Fae
if
old
they
time.
have simply wandered off and gotten lost or done something, slightly untoward, of which we won't speak to other people, but not unusual for a party.
Okay, so is negotiation, is that okay? Or is that
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's parlay is the.
well, so yeah, it's presence and parley is the skill check for this.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable, right? Like, okay, presence and parlay, and I draw another card. Right.
And that's your result plus that card. Not the fate card just like amplifies the success and downplays the negative repercussions.
Okay. So that's I got. I think I have a 3 natively. 2 for the presence and 1 for parlay. Or yeah, I mean, if it was will, that'd be a 4. But 3 minus 2 is a 1. Plus
Okay.
whatever fate does.
So she listens to your words and she doesn't as you're talking she listens to what you're saying, but before she can respond I think we had an 85, right? Someone else goes before an 82.
Yeah, I have an 85.
Okay, so Aaron, you lower her guard by 1. So her guard is she's visibly shaken, right? Like she's not happy that you're making sense a little bit. She's not happy that she's not being led through. She's not happy that Judith is still not here. So yeah, so you lower her guard another 1.
Okay.
Tim.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say Mr. Blakeney is quite right, Your Majesty. Nobody wants to dismiss the fact that people are missing. We just cannot have you run out there while there is foul play afoot.
Okay, so give me another check, Kim. I know it's like one of your
thing.
best. Yeah. Because I mean, you guys aren't doing anything but right, like saying things that make sense.
Yeah. Well,
We are being very sensible. That's true. It's a good point.
Absolutely.
I get a 3.
Okay, so the princess takes a step back and she puts her hand on the wall beside her, and actually anybody else have anything above a 82?
Yeah, I have a 90. I guess was that supposed
Kevin.
to go first?
I have an 83.
Yes, Kevin, you're supposed to go
I
first.
think you were supposed to
Second.
go before me,
I thought it was-
anyways.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Just in the background, killing people.
I guess I will lie to her and I will tell her that if she promises to come with us, then we will send a party out into the woods to find her friend, and I will not arrest her other friend for crimes punishable by certain death.
Okay, roll what is that, intimidating?
Deception?
Is that
That's not intimidate. I'm saying the opposite of that.
Guile, maybe? I feel like this is a guile situation. Guile is the thing for lying,
No,
assume?
I mean, if you're okay, I get you're lying to her. Okay, sure. Go ahead, Kevin. Deceit and trickery. Do it.
All right. So what? I just have the same. I have the card that I already pulled, or what?
No, you pull a new card for this check.
Oh, okay. All right. I get an 11.
Okay. All right. And what's the condition on the card?
Exposed.
Exposed. And so she says, she says, you arrest. She's like, you arrest me. She's like,
That's not what I said.
for
I
this.
said I
No,
wouldn't
you
arrest.
said wouldn't arrest.
I said I wouldn't arrest her friend.
Oh. I'm sorry. She says you, and then there's one more. There's one more, right? I think you said you.
We would send a search party out into the forest, and I would not arrest her traitorous witch friend.
Trader's his friend. So she sort of like she and she looks towards Christina, and Christina's like standing there like, you know, like in full like defiance, and she like steps forward to stand next to the princess, but I think Nick still has to go, right? Nick, you have an 83.
Yeah, I do.
Just stay in the
I'm-
corner going, mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's how I feel. Like, I'm not sure what else to say. We've already made all our arguments. It seems weird to like.
You're right, Nick, but like there's also like in-game things, right? Like you keep lowering her guard. Her guard is down. Anything further is like you know, beating your point home if you don't want to roleplay.
So
like,
Otto Winterfig's point was like, I won't arrest your friend if you acquiesce.
Yes.
All right. The Baron says. The Baron says, "Madam, this is a matter of your personal security, and a matter best left to those who are used to dealing with fighting foes as dastardly as this magic trickster."
Person.
Yeah. You must listen to us and do as we say. My military instincts are telling me that like we need you to do this in order for us to protect you.
Okay. I mean, leadership, Nick, presence and command. That makes sense.
Sure, that sounds great. Presence and command. And what am I trying to hit now that her guard's down?
It's still 0. 0 is always a target.
Oh, that's right. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Allow me to draw a card. Draw one card. All right. I get a 6.
Okay. Yeah. So she sits down, right? She like sits down. She's like listening to all of you, like, you know, take turns, like just bring the point home, and she raises her finger to say something, but Christina steps in front of her, and she says, "You can't arrest me, Witchfinder. I'm protected by the crown." And she like, oh no, I'm sorry. She says, "You can't if you tried." She's like, "I have a royal pardon."
Wait, for crimes you didn't commit yet?
Yeah. So it's still a 1. So she's fine. So she says, so she like hands it. So since she target Ulysses, your guard is down by 1. Kev, your guard is decreased by 1.
All right.
So she says, I'm afraid you have no authority here over me.
Okay.
And she like throws like a document like on the floor in front of you, which seems to have like a seal on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Pick it up and throw it in the fire.
On your turn, yeah. So it's after 82, right? Because this all happens like this is a quick conversation, right? Like this all takes place in a matter of like 50 seconds, right? Like 60 seconds. So anybody that goes after 82, I have 63. So otherwise, I'm gonna act again if no one.
Hold on, let me
I have
see.
a 60.
Oh shit, I have a 90, but it doesn't make any sense for me to like talk twice in a row. I don't like.
I have
Anyway,
68.
yeah, I'll go whenever. I have a 90 and a 73, I think.
There might be something about delay, but it's like 9:30, and I don't want to like look into it. So
Yeah.
this isn't a great time to pause because we're not gonna finish today, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
So I don't want to like push it like too far, but I think if you leave your cards and we know, I'm just gonna drag out like the 63 here.
I just want you to know though that 3 of us are not going to be here next week. Just for you to keep in mind.
Oh yeah, it's true. But I mean, I don't.
So
think...
Hal, Conrad, and Baronchester are just not going to be available. It was not a big deal. You have other players. I'm just letting you know. When you say, like, keep your cards.
Not that many other players, though.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's true.
It might.
Well, no, you
have.
You would still have 3, but yeah, whatever. I'm just saying.
Wait,
How would I have 3?
Because if you get Dave
And Kevin?
I mean, if Michael comes.
No,
I thought we were missing somebody else.
No, we only have 5.
Dave.
No.
The princess rips off her mask and reveals herself to be
I'm Otto von Hohenstaufen's wife, Greta von
the
Hohenstaufen.
real Otto von Hohenstaufen.
Oh shit, son!
I'm my own cousin.
So okay. I mean, I guess we could finish the week after.
I think
Is
that makes the most sense. It doesn't seem like we're 5 minutes away from wrapping this up.
We're not.
No.
Yeah, if there's an extra 10 minutes, I would say we should just do it. But if you don't
Right.
think that's the case, then
We're not. We're not.
let's just wait.
So we can wait 2 weeks and finish on the 17th. Right.
That seems like.
All right. So in the middle of this heated debate, all of, and I'll find out. I'll make sure I'm a little better with the rules in terms of social combat and with the initiative. I'll make sure that whether or not you can delay and all that other fun stuff. But we're going to leave off in the middle of this heated debate inside the house regarding the princess standing up to be like super angry with you guys for being capturing her, like you said, in like literally the first session of Clockwork Dominion. So thank you, right? Because that's what you guys said. You guys said you're going to capture the princess. So that's what
we did say we were going to kidnap her way back at the beginning. That's true.
Yeah. So so thank you, viewers, for watching. Thank you, players, for playing. If you're watching us on YouTube, catch us Tuesdays on Twitch at 7:30. And if you're watching us on Twitch, you can find the rest of our sessions on YouTube.